And today I'd like to welcome a very special guest onto my show. Thanks for being here, Abhishek.
Thanks for having me.
Abhishek, the reason I wanted to bring you on today was simply because I wanted you to share your story with a lot of men out there because it's an absolutely inspiring one to see how much weight you've lost and how you've transformed in the last few weeks. So thank you for coming on board. Now,
Oh, thanks for being.
before we get into detail, let's start with a few simple questions. What were you feeling like before you started off the 28-day challenge?
Uh, I think mostly disappointed with myself,
Hmm.
and with very little impetus or very little motivation to make a change. And what I basically mean by that is the way I looked,
Yeah.
my stamina,
Hmm.
and general sort of well-being, and how I felt about myself physically.
And what were the biggest changes you noticed after starting this journey?
A reduction in aches and pains, actually, believe it or not. So I think one of the biggest things, one of my biggest fears was that if I started going to the gym and pushed myself, would my joints hurt even more? And they certainly haven't. They've certainly improved. I
Excellent.
am lighter on my feet. I'm faster. I can catch my kids when I need to chase them, and
Nice.
that's important.
And you had mentioned to me this was sort of your last chance to really give it a go and really get back into shape because you think time was running out. What kind of things were you trying prior to joining this challenge?
I wasn't actually. I think in the past I've been a member at various gyms. I've tried to do group classes, and I find it very hard to motivate myself on my own.
Yeah,
So I need to be somebody else to exercise and work out. And I
right.
tried working out with a friend, and it's always about other people's timings. And
Yeah,
I think the discipline that this particular session afforded me,
yeah,
or made me commit to,
yeah,
really made a difference. And
yeah,
being with somebody knowledgeable, someone who has not just knowledge about different techniques and exercise, but someone who can actually motivate and inspire others.
yeah.
That really made a huge difference.
Awesome. And you mentioned that you had tried a lot of different approaches. How would you rate this approach, this method? What was so different this time around?
I think what was really key here was that I wasn't looking at a gym full of people with ripped bodies and people who were not already in that space that I wanted to be in.
Yeah,
So it was great to be with guys who all had the same determination and motivation.
yeah,
We all kind of looked the same. Some maybe better than the others,
yeah, yeah,
but um, but in a sense, there was no, the competition wasn't with others. The competition was with myself.
for sure.
So it was it was great to be in that space where I pushed myself, but I was pushing myself against myself,
Yeah,
and not necessarily against others. And I think what's happened in the past is that you always have that look that you want, or you see that person in the gym that has the physique that you want, and you're like, how will I ever get there?
yeah,
And before you know it, you're kind of disheartened, and you don't see the improvements and the changes, and you give up.
yeah,
Here, I think seeing other people's transformations along with my own
yeah,
was inspiring. I think the team, the guys that were in the class with me, each one of them was motivational in themselves. I looked up to all of them,
yeah,
and everyone had a story to tell. We were all in the same boat.
yeah.
Um, and I think that was really really important.
Important.
At my age, I'm almost at 50, and I think this was my last ditch effort to get into the shape that I've always wanted to be in for the last few years.
Right.
And had I not taken this, I think I would have just fallen off the wagon completely.
Yeah. And how much weight have you lost to date?
6.5 kilos has been
That's
the,
awesome.
the
And
weight
you
loss.
and you've not only lost weight, you've also put on a lot of muscle along the journey. Is that right?
Yes.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned you had tried a few different approaches like group classes, gym sessions with your friends, and you find it hard to motivate yourself. Would you now go and use another system ever to sort of try and lose weight?
I don't think so, and I don't think. I mean, I've been, like I was saying, I've been a part of various gyms. I've worked out with different people.
Yeah.
I've done my own thing. I've tried to swim, when I've had time.
Yeah.
But I think what really worked with is the format that it affords, and the space and the environment within which we work out.
Yeah.
That's something I think is. I know it's something I don't want to drop now.
Yeah. And what was the one thing that stood out to you the most? Or one thing that you can take away? Is it the community, the environment, the group of people, the coaching, the online apps that we give you?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to pick one because I think it is a sum of